guys. I'm standing here with a new friend of ours, Pepe, who is the owner of Finca Soledad.
I am all about terroir and all about the expression of nature. I don't like to process my coffees too much, and I think that makes it a very special coffee. And you also have a little bit of the Sidra wave, which is more than a process of philosophy. You know, when we harvest the coffee and we turn the cherries into what we eventually roast, I want that coffee to have a very nice dehydration part, and so that the qualities and the volatiles and the energy of the harvesters, the pickers, is there when you roast it. You know, when it gets to the roastery and Dario does his magic, that coffee will be shining, not just sensory-like, but you know, like energy-like.
Hey guys, I'm Dario from Bluebird Coffee Roastery, and welcome to another episode of Who the Hell Do We Think We Are? Today we're going to be brewing one of the most spectacular coffees I have ever tasted, and I cannot wait to release it to you, although only a few of you are going to get to enjoy this coffee. The reason I joke about who the hell do we think we are is because at the moment in the Bluebird Coffee Roastery, we are working with some incredible coffees we never dreamed of working with 5 years ago when I started this business. And I just think we are so privileged and so lucky to work with these incredible producers and these incredible coffees. Yes, they're expensive. They're expensive when we buy them, and they're certainly expensive when we sell them on to you guys. And they're also available in such low quantities that I realize these are coffees not everyone's going to get to try. These aren't our super inclusive, you know, welcome to specialty coffee type of coffees. These are the coffees where we're exploring the upper end of quality, the upper end of what's possible when it comes to coffee. And the producer who produced this particular coffee definitely lives by that sort of mantra, chasing excellence, looking to produce the best coffees he possibly can. His name is Pepe, and he owns Finca Soledad in Ecuador. This is the second of 4 coffees we'll be releasing from this harvest, and I'm absolutely thrilled. This is my favorite of the 4, which is his Sidra wave. It's also the coffee we received in the lowest quantity and at the highest price. And the reason is because Sidra is very hard to grow. This coffee takes a long time to process. The wave processing philosophy is very slow, very intricate, and basically just ties up more time and more space for a longer period of time, so it has to be more expensive. This coffee will most likely be used by one of our team at one of the upcoming barista champs. You have to wait and see, and it's absolutely spectacular. Most of the lot that we receive is going to be going to our friends at Sweet Spot in Munich, Germany. Marcus has had his eye on this coffee since I let him know we were getting it, and there's only a small amount being released from our web store because we'll be keeping the rest for competition and to throw into our freezer and to serve to our cafe customers for the next few months. So if you do manage to get your hands on this coffee, I would recommend brewing it in small amounts. Obviously, you want to maximize the amount of coffee you get, and I think most people will be buying this coffee in 100-gram bags. So in my mind, I'd be looking to do a 12-gram recipe, a 12-gram dose, which will give me 8 doses plus 4 grams of wastage and a little bit here and there. In order to make this brew recipe happen, I'm going to be using a smaller Kalita filter, the 155, and I'm going to be grinding slightly finer than we would for our 20-gram doses to increase the contact time, slow down the flow of water, seeing as though the bed is shallower, and our bloom, or our pause between our 2 pours, is going to be much longer than it would be on our 20-gram dose. So very simply, I'm going to use 12 grams of coffee. I'm going to use 200 grams of water, which is about a 16.6 ratio, a bit higher ratio than what we would normally use, and I find that this recipe highlights the florality of this coffee, and I really enjoy the concentration of the finished brew. I've got my kettle preheated, we're at 96 degrees. I'm going to start my timer, and I'm going to pour 100 grams of water, starting with a nice circular pour until 70 grams, and then center to take us to a total of 100 grams. And now the hard part, we're going to stand here and wait for this coffee to really open up, for the water to fully saturate our grounds, and we're going to pour our next pour at 1 minute 20. So it's a long wait. We're at 1 minute 20, and I'm going to be pouring again, starting with the circular. And then center, taking us to a total brew weight of 200 grams, and we're going to let that water drain through. What can you expect from this coffee? For me, it's got incredible florality, as I mentioned before. We're getting loads of clementine, really sweet citrus fruit, and then there's definitely some beautiful red fruit notes, some strawberry, maybe something softer like raspberry, and the acidity is almost effervescent. It's like a sparkling acidity. It's absolutely delicious. I love this coffee. You're going to enjoy it however you brew it. So if you brew espresso at home and you manage to get some of this coffee, it's obviously quite a nerve-wracking thing when you've only got 100 grams of coffee or 250 grams of coffee, and it's so special and you've paid a lot of money for it, and now you want to put it through your espresso machine. Where do you even start? Well, we've found that our percolations have been a bit slower, so I would grind slightly coarser than you might for a typical washed coffee, and you can expect the flow rates to be a bit slower, so that might help you to mitigate a bit of wastage. But to be honest with you, even if you pull like a 40-second shot with this, I'd definitely drink it. I'm sure it's going to be incredible. But if you are brewing espresso, I'd be looking at probably around 24 to 26 seconds, and I would do quite a long ratio. I'd go maybe 18 grams in and 42 grams out, push those ratios a bit longer, get loads of extraction, lower your TDS slightly so it's a little bit less concentrated. I find that's a really nice concentration to drink these kinds of coffees at. And again, how lucky are we? Who do we even think we are that we get to work with coffees this spectacular? And it's our absolute privilege to get to share this coffee with you. I really hope that you do get to taste some. Our final brew time there was about 3 minutes 10, so a long drawdown. This coffee is going to be absolutely spectacular. It's going to give it a nose. I think you're going to love it. Hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you got some value from it. I hope you get to try this coffee. And if you don't, we'll be releasing some spectacular coffees from Finca Soledad very soon. So keep your eyes open for those and for the rest of our Nano Lot program, our limited release program. And I hope that you get to indulge the curiosity to find out what the upper end of specialty coffee can taste like. Cheers, guys.